Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you what is in my emergency makeup kit. So I thought this video would be kind of fun because I feel like we all have those times in our life when someone calls us and they want us to meet them in like 10 to 15 minutes, or we just have a really limited amount of time to get ready because maybe an event popped up, or maybe you forgot about an appointment, but you still want to look put together. So I figured this video would be useful if you just want quick, efficient makeup that is easy to apply. So it's kind of that minimal effort, but maximum results. And I love those types of looks. So I'm going to just be showing you what's in my emergency makeup kit. So this is definitely what I use for maybe occasions where I just, even when I feel lazy with my makeup, like I don't even want to apply makeup, but I have to go out in public and I still want to look put together and I still want to present like my best face forward. I want to put my best face forward. And I definitely would say I use this a lot because I'm definitely someone who can be a little bit lazy with my makeup. And I just want to pull for products that are always reliable. I can count on them. They will always look good. They're easy to blend. They're easy to apply. So this would definitely be useful for beginners, especially because all these products are super easy breezy. So for me, when I'm putting together an emergency makeup kit, I want to pull for products, or I want to start the makeup application with products that are most important to me. So for me, this is going to come down to time constraints. So say I only have 5 minutes to get ready. I'm going to pull first for complexion products because to me, my complexion is the most important part of my makeup routine. And when I want to go out in public, I would rather put on complexion products to, I guess, put my best face forward. That is what is most important to me. For you, it might be lip products or eye products. On here, I am just going to prime my eyes because, again, I feel like when my eyes have more of a clean canvas, it just allows me to go in with less product later. I'm going to take the Chantecaille. This is the next generation eye base. I don't like to apply it straight onto the eyes. I like to apply it to my fingers first, just because I feel like it goes on a little bit better when I apply it to my fingers. I don't know, when I apply it to my lids, it just can sometimes look a little bit heavy. So I like to apply it to my fingers first. You can just go in with a concealer. I like to go in with a tinted eye primer because, again, it's going to correct some of the redness or discoloration on my eyelids, and everything just has a nice clean canvas and looks just a little bit better. But I'm going to move along to skin. So I have already, like I said, washed my face, and while I was in the bathroom doing my skincare, I did apply my SPF, but just because I feel like, again, skincare is really important, and if I am going out at any point during the day, I want to make sure that I have an SPF, and this one's just a very cosmetically elegant primer slash sunscreen. This is the Chantecaille. Now in Canada, it's called the Ultra Smoothing Primer. It just has a little sticker over this, but it's just covering up what it's called in the States, which is called the Ultra Sun Protection Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 45 Primer. So it just has a different name in Canada because we're a bit stricter with our SPF. But I applied that as my primer because I'm sorry that I'm not showing it because I already applied it. But this has a really nice texture. It is quite liquidy, so you do need to give it a really good shake when you apply it onto the skin. But it just really smooths over the skin and does act as a great hybrid between skincare and a primer. So it really smooths the complexion and makes everything look really refined. So if you're looking for that blurring primer, this is a great option. This is also great if you are someone that does not like to wear any sort of coverage product, like if you don't like foundation or concealer, but you want just a little bit of blurring so that your complexion looks better. This is fantastic. And then I am going to just move on to the face because, like I said, if I am in a rush and I want efficient makeup, if I have a friend that calls and says, meet me in 10 minutes, which I probably wouldn't do because I'm like such a type A person and I like to have plans scheduled way in advance. But if that were to happen, I would go in with skin products first because that is the most important to me. That is what I want to look the best. I'm just going to take a little bit of the Chantecaille Sheer Rose face tint and apply a little bit under the eyes, again, being very quick with that. And then for really quick foundation and concealer application, again, if I was in a hurry but I just want my makeup to still look really put together and beautiful, It's sort of that makeup where you don't require as much effort. So it's quick, beautiful results, no fuss makeup sort of application. So these are quick to apply. They are foolproof. I know that they're always going to look good when I apply them. And they're also just fast application. So I can get through this really quickly. I'm going to go on to concealer slash foundation. And for that, I'm going to use the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Complexion Touch. You can see I literally have like a few pumps left of this because I love it so much. And actually this works really well as a concealer and a foundation. So I'm going to use it as a 2-in-1 today because that's just going to allow me to move through the face a little bit faster. And because I'm using this as a foundation and concealer, I'm just going to go in and do my foundation first and then conceal my under eyes later. Usually I go in with concealer first. In this case, it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to take this, and with this product, and again with really quick and efficient makeup, I don't want to go and wash my beauty blender and get it wet, even though that'd probably only take me like 2 minutes. I'm just going to go in straight with a brush. This is kind of the only time that I use a brush. But this product actually works a little bit better when you have a brush to break up the little pigment beads. And to apply this, I'm going to go in with this Shiseido face polishing brush. It will be linked down below. So for this, I just like to go in with this Water Fresh Complexion Touch, and I'll just pump it onto this brush. And I'm going to distribute it onto the face and just quickly apply. Now this brush is humongous, as you can see, so it actually applies makeup really quick. And like I said, I'm going to start out with a pump of product. In this case, I don't necessarily want a ton of coverage. I still want my skin to shine through and look really natural. And this is a really buildable formula, so I like to start with one pump, and then you can always go in with more. I'm just going to take another pump to show you. I think I could get away with just that one pump of the Chanel Water Fresh Complexion Touch. And I like this versus the Water Fresh Tint. I mean, I love this, but I like using the Water Fresh Complexion Touch because it offers me a little bit more coverage, because if I am going out, sometimes I want just a little bit more coverage. And I can also get away with using this as a concealer underneath the eyes. Therefore, I won't require an additional concealer. So it just makes everything really fast with application, and this just sinks into the skin and blends into the skin really nicely. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of this product again, and first I'm going to just apply this with my fingertips to get a little bit more precision and a little bit more coverage right under the eyes, just where I require the most coverage. So for me, I am pretty dark just right at the inner corners. I'm not going to bring it right up close to my lash line because I don't like makeup really sitting in that area because it can just emphasize any fine lines there. So I'm going to do that, and then I have a little brush. It's almost just like a little mini kabuki brush, which actually comes with that Chanel Water Fresh Complexion Touch product. And then I'm going to go in with that excess product that I just have on the palm of my hand, and I'm going to make sure to blend that concealer under the eyes. You could do the eye concealer first and then go in with the foundation. Honestly, it doesn't matter because it's the exact same product, but I can be a little bit more precise under the eyes with this brush. And again, it's just really quick to blend into the skin, and I don't need to go in with my beauty blender to smooth everything out. It just looks smooth already. So next in my emergency beauty kit, it is going to be a bronzer because again, to me, the skin is the most important. So I want to get that part done just in case 10 minutes go by and I'm not done my face completely. I can just head out the door and I'll at least have some of my face done, and I don't necessarily need my eyes done. So for me, a bronzer that I can just always count on, that always looks good. It never is patchy. It's never hard to blend. It's really easy to apply, and I get a very seamless effect. So it's something I don't even necessarily need a mirror for. I go in with this Chantecaille. This is the Real Bronze in Sirena. I just adore this, and I'm just going to take this on a bronzer brush, and I like to just pick up that product. And as always, I like to tap off the excess on the back of my hand just to get a really even application. And I just softly apply onto the skin, and you can see I am applying this by kind of tapping it into the skin because I don't want to disturb any of that product underneath, and I want it to go on very subtly. I like a very natural bronzer, which again is another reason why I tap off that excess. I want to ensure that there's no patchiness with this application, and I'd rather apply a sheer amount of product, and then I can just go in with more of that product and build it up if necessary. But again, this bronzer, it has that gel formulation, so it's almost a cream to powder product. It melts into the skin like a cream product would. There are no harsh lines. It gives a very subtle, soft glow, but it has this very soft focus effect. It's just such a beautiful bronzer. And I feel like it's very underrated. Not a lot of people talk about it, but for me, this is a bronzer that I can always count on. And that would go in my beauty emergency kit. But I love this bronzer, and this is something that I pull for when I am in a rush or I just want my makeup to look really beautiful. The highlighter in my emergency beauty kit is going to be something that is multitasking, I would say. So I can potentially use this on the eyes. I also think it's important to have a little bit of that blurring capability. So for me, the easy choice is the Chantecaille Lotus Perfect Blur Glow Powder. Because when I apply this powder, not only do I get a little bit of a sheen, it's also going to blur the skin. This is just such a unique powder where it gives you that dimension to your skin. It gives you that little bit of glow, but it also has that soft focus blurred effect on the skin, which is just very unique for a powder that has a sheen. Because most of the time we do not get that with these powders. So I'm gonna go in with the Sonia G Mini Cheek. And because this powder is so subtle, you can go in with a bit of a heavier hand. And I'm going to use this as my highlighting product because it is so soft and subtle, but I am going to get a little bit of a blurred effect right on the tops of my cheekbones, which I absolutely adore. And I can also use this powder as a buffing powder at the end of my makeup application as well, if I do have the time for it. But I like to just apply this to my cheeks. And again, because it adds that blurred effect, I can be a little more generous with this powder. I don't need to go in with some other highlighters, and why I chose this one, it's so subtle that you don't need to be super careful with your application. You can almost apply this haphazardly. You don't need to be super precise because you're just getting this very, very, very soft, subtle glow. With other highlighters that maybe are a little bit more intense, you're gonna have to be super careful with them. And sometimes when I'm in a rush or I just wanna get ready quick, it's nice to have that ease of application where I don't need to be too precise. And for blush, I'm sure it's not going to be a surprise, but something that I just think is very flattering, easy to apply, it always looks good, are these Gucci blushes. I hope you're not sick of me using this. I've almost reached for another blush just to switch it up, but if I'm being honest with myself, this is the blush that I would pull for that emergency beauty kit when I just want to get ready really fast, because it just always looks good and it blends like a dream. So these are the Cheeks and Eye Powder Luminous Matte Blush. I have the shade Rosy Beige and Bright Coral. I'm gonna do Bright Coral, I think, because I want to add a little bit of life to my complexion. I'm just taking this on a blush brush. And again, these blushes are really nice because they're not too pigmented, but they're not too sheer. They just blend onto the cheeks so nicely, so easily. They give you a little bit of color, but not too much. Very flattering finish to these. It's not too luminous where it's going to emphasize texture, but it's not too matte where it looks drying on the skin. Just such a gorgeous formula. And because I used this the Lotus Perfect Blur Glow Powder from Chantecaille, because I just used that as a highlighter, super easy to go and buff my makeup at the end because this powder is already out. I just take a little bit on this Sonia G buffing brush and run over the edges. And again, this only takes an extra like 30 seconds. So while it might seem like you're not being very efficient, you actually are, because you're just using the same product and you're just finishing off the makeup. And all you need is that and you are good to go, but everything just looks even better because it's all blended into the skin. There are no harsh lines. You can't see the product sitting on top of your skin. So it leads to a more natural result. And for me, I think it's worth putting in the 30 seconds to do that finishing touch where it makes your makeup just look a little bit better. And then to really finish off the complexion, because I do like that really soft focus, blurred, I don't want to say perfected because it's not perfected where you have a lot of full coverage makeup on, but it's just more perfected because everything is very smooth and looks poreless. This does a really great job of just blurring everything. And this is the Chantecaille Perfect Blur Finishing Powder in the shade Light Medium. Limited edition packaging, but this is permanent. And I just go in with this Sonia G Master Face, apply a little bit of that, again, tap off that excess, and all I do is I press it right into the pore area here, and that is it. Now again, because I just went in with a little bit of powder, I can easily take this with me in my makeup bag just in case I need to touch up. So that is just something that I would put to the side so I can put it in my purse when I'm going out, so I can, again, easily touch up. So when you are putting together your makeup emergency kit, I think it is important to kind of have a full face in there, but when you actually apply it onto the skin, go in with what's most important to you. So for me, that was the skin. So I got my skincare done. I got my skin to a place where I think it looks really natural and beautiful. I have a nice, I don't want to say like perfected because again, it's not high coverage. I just look more blurred and I really like that look. I like to look more blurred and just kind of have that soft focus, almost filtered effect in person. And then next on my list in terms of importance, time-wise, because again, if I only had 7 minutes, I would just do this and go out the door, put on a little lip balm. But if I had a little bit more time, for me, next on my list in terms of importance would be my lips. So for lips, again, I want to do something super easy breezy, no fuss. This is the Chantecaille Lip Veil in the shade Tamboti. Really great neutral nude lipstick. And this formula I love because it acts almost like a tinted lip balm, but it gives you a little bit of color and it is so, oh, I just love this formula because it feels so good on the lips. It almost feels lip conditioning and it just gives me the most beautiful amount of color, but it's not too much color. And it just feels so good on the lips. You feel like you literally just applied a lip balm and it's one of those lip products that my lips actually feel better once this lip product has worn off. So I think that's really nice when I just want something really quick because again, this does offer a sheer amount of pigmentation. So it's not a super high maintenance lip product. This is something I can just apply and go. I don't necessarily need a lip liner. If I did want a little bit of definition, I would probably just throw this in my purse actually, but this is the Chantecaille Lip Definer in Natural. And this I actually prefer to use over top of lip products. So if I wanted to add a little bit of definition, I would just go in quickly, add a little bit of definition. Using this type of formula I think is really great because I don't need to prep the lips beforehand. I don't need to go in with an additional gloss. Words are challenging today. I don't need to go in with an additional gloss because this has a little bit of a sheen, but it's not too much of a sheen where things kind of transfer outside the lip line or things smear or smudge or it starts to look unflattering. This is not ultra long wearing, but again, it's no fuss makeup, which is really easy to touch up. And then next in terms of importance for me would of course be eye makeup because that's pretty much all I have left. Now, if I only had like 2 more minutes, I would just go in with mascara and be done. But if I had a little bit of more time, I would go in with a one and done eyeshadow just because I feel like one and dones are such a great way to get a look where you look put together. It's minimal effort, but maximum results. So you look like you've taken a lot more time than you probably actually have when you use a one and done shadow, especially one that has a little bit more reflection. So speaking of like the Chantecaille Luminescent eye shades, the Bobbi Brown Luxe Eyeshadow Rich Metals. Where's my Chantecaille Luminescent eye shades here? And then the Chantecaille Mermaid eye colors. Now, I think that I want to go for the Chantecaille Mermaid eye color in the shade Copper today. I like this one because the sheen is much more subtle than the shimmer that are in the Bobbi Brown and the Chantecaille Luminescent eye shades. I want something that is more natural, so this is going to give me a more natural look. It almost acts as a cream eyeshadow. It is kind of like a cream to powder formula. And with this, the easiest, fastest application is just going in with my fingers, and then I'm just going to apply to the lid. So I'm just going to go all over. And I also really like this, especially when I'm doing my face makeup first, because this doesn't have that intermittent shimmer to it. It just offers a very beautiful sheen. And because it doesn't have those intermittent shimmer particles and it acts like a cream to powder shadow, you're not going to have that shimmer fallout that sometimes can happen with these Chantecaille Luminescent eye shades or the Bobbi Brown Rich Metal Luxe eyeshadows, just because there is a bit more of that, I want to say like grittiness to it, because again, there is a bit more of an intermittent shimmer. Because this offers more of a sheen, we're not going to have that shimmer fallout on the eyes, and I just think that looks beautiful. It still looks really natural, so your makeup just looks enhanced versus overdone. Before I go and apply mascara, I'm actually going to tightline. Usually I wait to tightline after I've applied mascara. I usually wait about like 10 minutes after I've applied mascara, but if I'm going for really quick, efficient makeup, I'm going to tightline before I do my mascara, and I'm using the Hourglass Voyeur Waterproof Gel Liner, and this is actually the shade Cave, which is a brown shade. So I'm just going to apply this. Now I don't usually show this on camera, but I'm applying it to my tight line. So I did go ahead and tight line just the upper waterline. Sorry, my phone rang, so I had to go answer that. And then I would move on to mascara, because if I do apply a little bit of shadow like I did, then I have to go in with mascara. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the Gucci L'Obscura mascara in the shade Eve Black. And if I did have time, I would go in and prime my lashes. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So this is the Chanel lash primer, switching it up from my Dior lash primer just to try something new. So I just go in with one coat of that. Okay, so I let that dry like 30 seconds, and I'm just going to go in with the Gucci mascara. And I like to apply just one coat of this. So I like to start at the base and just really, it's really hard to top through mascara, but I like to kind of press the base of the mascara wand into my lashes, get into the base of my lashes where I applied that tight line color, and then I just kind of fan out at the top. And then I do run through on the other end of my lashes, just to make sure I'm getting them all applied with mascara, and then I kind of fan through them again. And I don't know if you can tell, I'm kind of wiggling the wand like this to brush through all the lashes. So with the eyeshadow, obviously that was super easy to apply because I didn't use any brushes, just went in with fingertips. But like you can see, you get a really beautiful, quick result, but it looks like that you put in a lot more time in your makeup. And this look easily comes together for me, and I want to say like 12 to 13 minutes when I'm just going through the motions really quickly, especially if I have all my makeup just kind of laid out. And then if I were taking a to-go bag, just in case I needed to touch up, I would bring the Chantecaille Perfect Blur finishing powder with this little brush. I would also bring the lip color that I chose, so I would bring the Chantecaille Lip Veil, and that's probably all I'd bring because I don't really care to really touch up my makeup, just in case I did require a little bit of powder. So you could also just skip the powder application and take this with you to go and touch up at a later point. And then I just want to pinpoint one more step that I would take. If I had, say, 30 more seconds, then I would go in with that same bronzer. So this is the Chantecaille Sirena bronzer. And I would just take a little bit of this on a pencil brush, and I would just run under the lower lash line, just because I like a little bit of color on my lash line. Again, this would be something that I would either skip or do at the very last minute if I had enough time, just because I think this looks a little bit more complete than just this, but you might prefer not going in with shadow. So again, that's totally optional. So that is everything for my Get Ready With Me with my emergency makeup kit. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below. I would love to know what you would put in your emergency makeup kit. Like this video if you like it, and I'll see you in my next video.